से तो हर फूल खुदी में खिलता है। आ जाता है नूर उस पे, आ जाता है नूर उस पे, माली उसको मिलता है जब माली उसको मिलता है। दे दो समय का दान, विद्यादान विद्यादान, देश बनेगा कौशल महान, देश बनेगा कौशल महान। दे दो विद्यादान, दे दो विद्यादान। जो भी हमने सीखा है बच्चों को हम सिखलाएंगे, जो भी हमने सीखा है बच्चों को हम सिखलाएंगे। वो हो अनपढ़ या हो शिक्षित, वो हो अनपढ़ या हो शिक्षित, सभी को साथ बिठाएंगे। अपना अनुभव और कला, अपना अनुभव और कला, हम भेंट उन्हें दे जाएंगे। हर कारीगर हो कलाकार, हर कारीगर हो कलाकार, ऐसा देश बनाएंगे हम, ऐसा देश बनाएंगे। विद्या से ही बनता है, विद्या से ही बनता है उत्तम कौशल देश महान। दे दो समय का दान, दे दो विद्यादान, दे दो समय का दान, दे दो विद्यादान, दे दो विद्यादान, दे दो विद्यादान, विद्यादान विद्यादान।
So in very few words, this song, which has been conceptualized by our chairman, Shri Subhash Gaiji, it encapsulates, it captures the very essence of Vidyadaan, a movement by MESC to share knowledge and experience where the gurus and the shishyas come together on one platform. तो सभी को नमस्कार और मैं हमारे अतिथिगण उनका इस मंच पर स्वागत करती हूँ. Very hearty welcome to all our esteemed guests, distinguished dignitaries, special invitees, all our esteemed speakers, welcoming all of you and especially our attendees and participants also to the day 4 of the Vidyadaan virtual carnival being organized by the Media and Entertainment Skills Council. And this is your host, Vimi Chaudhary, extending greetings to all of you. Now, today, ladies and gentlemen, our focus in the topic which we have is driving innovation and global trends through industry-led education programs. I'll just take a few minutes to set the context and then we have our esteemed speakers who are going to be giving in their views. Now, I think the topic which we have today is extremely pertinent. It is very timely, especially now that we have the new education policy. And also in the wake of our national aspirations. And this is probably going to be the key driver to make India Atmanirbhar, to be vocal for local, to be local for global also. And just not to leave it to mere sloganing, but actually to convert all this in reality on ground. It is going to be a key driver to ensure that our greatest national asset, our brain power, our manpower, is applied more effectively towards securing a sustainable and a resilient economic future. और मेरे ख्याल से we all agree that today what we are going through, the need, the pain which we are feeling when our economy is contracting almost by minus 24%, and many are jobless. We need to have a sustainable and resilient economic future. Countries around the world, and we have been discussing it on various platforms, we discussed it yesterday also. Countries around the world have recognized the very vital importance of harnessing their higher education system to enhance their industrial performance. And if India wants to be the next global power, we cannot afford to stand still. Time and again, we have discussed, we have realized, we've spoken about the industry academia gap, which is impacting our productivity, efficacy, competitiveness of our individuals and of our economy and industries. Time and again, we have felt that our students need to be global students, global professionals. They need to be innovators, creators, leaders, entrepreneurs. Time and again, we have recognized and realized the importance of reskilling and increasing the skills of the current workforce, as well as also the formal recognition of some informal acquired skills. Certification is what we discussed also yesterday. That has been felt and reinforced. Time and again, we have felt that the industry need to engage with research organizations, with academic institutions, think tanks, multilateral organizations, and also with the labor market. Time and again, it has been felt that higher education and industry, they are symbiotic, they are integral, they are interdependent parts of the economy, and they're working together synergetically is going to be providing an engine for economic growth. And as we are all aware that the Sector Skills Council, they were incubated by the National Skill Development Council for fostering this industry connections and developing the industry relevant course and curriculum. Many industries today, we are aware, they are building their own skilling and training capacities and capabilities. And many are also very closely working with higher education institutions for relevant skill sets. MESC itself has been running various skill-based courses. In the media and entertainment sector, we have been collaborating with various education institutions offering degree, diploma, and certification courses. And today, as we are going to be especially talking about NEP 2020, and as our Honourable Prime Minister very recently in a UGC meet had also mentioned, he said that this is a policy which is expected to bridge the gap between research, technology, and education, and raising future industry-ready professionals. It intends to fix this gap of the industry academia. And this is a policy which is going to be changing the course of our education system for the next 20 years. Here, I would like to also quickly mention what our speaker yesterday, Ms. Amala, she gave a very pertinent example of a bridge which was constructed in Central America on the Choluteca River. Now, that was a state-of-the-art bridge which was constructed by Japanese. And just after 2 years, it took 2 years of construction. After just 2 to 3 months of its opening, the river changed the course and the bridge became redundant. There was nowhere for the bridge to go. So we need to have policies which are sustainable. We need to have our efforts which are sustainable and resilient. And many of you must have watched and heard the address of the Honourable Prime Minister yesterday also. He said that the more teachers, the more parents, students are associated with this policy, the more it is going to be becoming relevant and broad-based. So we at MESC have taken this mission, this movement, where we are discussing, analyzing NEP with various stakeholders. Day one, we engaged with the schools, yesterday with the colleges, and today we have the universities. We have the Sector Skills Council with whom we are going to be speaking. We're really fortunate that we have the stalwarts present, very learned, erudite, and very accomplished speakers from Sector Skills Council, the chancellors and vice chancellors of universities, with whom we are going to be discussing the NEP. We are going to be inviting their views on NEP, discussing very finer points of the policy, the multiple entry and exit points proposed without losing the credits earned, and the others. And I think you can judge the finer points which we are going to be touching base with the subtopics which you can see in the agenda. We will also be discussing certain challenges, especially that of the low GER in the higher education. And then we'll discuss what should be our approach to create a quality, robust and vibrant skilling ecosystem in the country, and how do we actually align ourselves, our approach with the NEP. So it's a big task and responsibility which we are going to be taking with our very esteemed speakers today. And I would like to once again thank them for sparing in their time for this analysis which we are going to be doing. And I would like to now take the opportunity and privilege of extending greetings and welcoming them on board. So we are very thankful, and I would like to welcome Mr. Amit Behl, Indian theatre, television, film actor, Senior Joint Secretary of CINTAA, and our Honourable Governing Council member and Chairman Steering Committee. And today he is our very distinguished keynote speaker. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Rimi, and very warm welcome to all the esteemed educationists and the deans and the vice chancellors from all the various universities. The basic thing was when Pooja told me that you need to be a part of this. So I said great, because to discuss the education policy is not really my prerogative. But being an industry insider and having had varied experiences in terms of education, I realized that it's very, very important for our esteemed panelists to really understand what the media and entertainment industry is all about. The basic issue is the keynote address. I would not call it a keynote address. I'm just going to put forward a couple of pointers, because these are food for thought, and these are certain things that our esteemed educationists need to understand, because there is generally a very, very vague perception about the M&E industry, because and that perception needs to be cleared, because that will help the universities, the colleges, the schools, and people from academics to understand that there are too many factors. Because right now, as we speak, with the current pandemic and the way India is situated, we are right now the largest churner of entertainment, non-entertainment, fiction, non-fiction content in the world. We produce more content than the United States of America. As my colleague in the MESC, Chaitanya Chinchalkar, who's also the vice president of Whistling, had said one thing, that America has two great exports, that's arms and films. But we produce bigger content. We are a bigger country. We've got so many regional industries. We are spread across such a vast country. Unfortunately.
So I would just like to take a minute before I request you for your keynote address. And thank you for putting the thought that having you as a keynote speaker, what we are looking into the role of MESC, especially in creating this robust and vibrant and quality.
I'm going to come to that, yes.
I would just like to, before I request you for your keynote address, just welcome all the speakers, and then we go with your keynote address, if that's fine, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought you'd ask me to start. So
yeah, so we are also going to be joined by Ms. Rekha Menon, who's the head education initiatives, NSDC. She joins us as a special addressee. We have Mr. Raj Nehru, the Vice Chancellor of Shri Vishwakarma Skill University, Government of Haryana, and Mission Director of the Haryana Skill Development Mission. I welcome you on board, sir. Mr. Shekhar, Vijendra, Chancellor, Shobhit University. Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, Vice Chancellor, Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology. Ms. Sasmita, Samanta, the Pro Vice Chancellor of KIIT. Dr. Roopak, Vasishtha, CEO and Director General of Apparel, SSC. Dr. Sibaram, Khara, Vice Chancellor of Sharda University. Professor Dr. P. Kolandaivel, Vice Chancellor of Periyar University. Professor D.P. Kaliraj, Vice Chancellor of Bharatiya University. Dr. Sanjay Modi, the Executive Dean of Lovely Professional University. Mr. Alok Baraya, the Senior Director, Office of Academic Affairs of Ashoka University. And as we take the discussions forward, we'll have our moderator, Jay Naresh, a tech geek, who is going to be taking the discussions. Yes, hi, who's going to be moderating the panel. And the framework I would just like to mention, we'll be beginning with a keynote address, and then we'll have the addresses of our esteemed speakers, which Generation is going to be driving. 7 to 8 minutes for the speakers, so that we have time also for the question answers. And detailed profiles are going to be of each of the speakers are going to be flashed on the screen, so that we have more time for your views. And participants, you can send in your questions in the chat box. So with that, once again, welcome everyone on board. And now, sir, I would like to request our keynote speaker. Once again, my apologies for interrupting, but that's Mr. Amit Behl, who's going to be speaking to us on the importance of skill-based education in media and entertainment. Sir, the screen is all yours now.
Apologies once again for having started before time. And it's usually you give it the
My
actor.
apologies, I wasn't clear that much.
No, but it's always the case. You give the actor the mic, he or she refuses to leave it. It's most often the case. So
Same with the MC.
Anyway, so again, a very warm welcome to all the esteemed panelists, and thank you, Vimy and MESC, for inviting me once again. The point is that since this is part of the Vidyadaan, the anniversary of Vidyadaan, and we've been able to achieve a lot of, we have been able to achieve a lot of milestones because through Vidyadaan, and we've also been able to find out what is the lacuna and what is the disconnect between the academia and the industry. Now, this is something that our chairman and in the GC we've been discussing as in what is the basic problem. The problem is that the M&E industry has lost patience because of the simple reason that we do not have enough of time and enough of space per se to encourage people to start learning on the job. Unfortunately, as I said, if for people who heard me earlier when I started off, is that we lack proper training institutes. That is a very, very, very important thing. Apart from the FTII, Whistling Woods, the National School of Drama, the SRFTI, and a couple of institutes, we do not have enough of training institutes. And what happens is that the media and entertainment industry, as we see it today, with VR, AI, animation, gaming, the digital spaces, the streaming platforms, cinema, new avenues of performing in terms of live performance area, plus the globally relevant Indian M&E professional is being looked at. Like I represent an organization which is called the Cine and TV Artists Association, which is India's oldest and largest body of performers, which started in 1958 by stalwarts like Sohrab Modi and Srimati Durga Khote. And we are now part of the 5th biggest union in the world, and we are part of an organization which is called the Federation of International Actors, FIA, which has representation in 83 countries. And over 5 years, having gone over there, I've realized that a country like India, with such a huge population, with a huge consumption of media and entertainment, of theater and music and dance and poetry, and cinema and television and streaming platforms, what we lack is educated professionals. What we lack is people who can represent the country and the trade in a very, very professional manner too. There is also a gap of where does the Indian media and entertainment professionals find space in the global scenario? Why are we looking at foreign technicians and foreign actors and foreign writers and foreign VFX professionals when we have that kind of brain infrastructure here? When we have IITians or we've got people from India who are part of NASA, why can't we produce media and entertainment professionals that move globally? That is a question that we at the MESC have been constantly thinking about. The reason is that there is a big disconnect between academics and the M&E industry. My keynote address or me talking to this section of esteemed panelists is that all the universities and the institutes need to first understand what the trade is all about. It's taken me about 2.5 decades to understand about 1/4. Subhash Ghai, our chairperson, says that I've still not been able to understand the trade, although he's a stalwart in all crafts. But the point is that collectively we need to understand as to what it is that we can do to get the M&E industry, the education institutes, apply the new, the NEP, also use the platform of the NSDC and the MESC to create a win-win to generate professionals who are going to go out on the wide world, and they will not be necessarily called, okay, this is a trainee or an intern. When we talk about the profession of acting, you can't have a trainee or an intern actor. When we talk about the other crafts, we're talking about 37 to 38 other skilled crafts in the media and entertainment industry. What happens is that somebody who comes from theater and decides that I want to be a part of the media and entertainment industry, which means you move into the electronic, into the digital space, into the celluloid space, which is very different from the live performance space. So for a producer, a broadcaster, a studio owner, or an employer to actually go back and start training this professional onto digital, celluloid, cinematic crafts becomes very, very tough. Secondly, what the kind of equipments and the kind of trainers that are there in most M&E industries are let's talk about the equipments, they're outdated. So when you move into the actual professional space, they've actually have to go back and unlearn and relearn and then go back and get their machines oiled again. When we talk about trainers, most of the trainers that are there in M&E institutes are people who have really either forgotten their craft, left their craft, have not been successful, or have realized that this is one secure job that we've got. And the M&E industry will always remain insecure because we work on something which is the basic thing called hypothesis. Any piece of celluloid or any piece of cinema, any piece of television, any piece of digital work cannot guarantee box office success or number of hits, or will this be a hit or not, which means that it's a two-pronged thing. It's a catch-22 situation. You get professionals, you get people who want to work on a great piece or a great project, and then you realize that it may not be successful. Okay, so which means that the M&E industry world over is always going to remain an insecure profession. It's like the IT industry. You don't know that every piece of software that you create, or in the FMCG industry, that any new biscuit or a new cold drink that you launch is going to be a hit or not. But the fact is that there is a definitive need for the consumption of certain products. Likewise, there is a need for consumption of entertainment and infotainment products across the globe. The problem is that we have to realize this, that right now in America, they've got about 150 plus professional institutes which train professionals, and these professionals go back into the trade, learn, unlearn, come back into the workspace, and then come back and impart the same kind of knowledge to the students. So when the students come outside of a Lee Strasberg or a New York Film Academy or the Columbia University, they are trained on job. So they don't join as interns. They are on the job. This is a big lacuna that I feel per se we need to bridge. This is a gap that we need to bridge in our country, especially because we have students who want to enter the trade. We have students who are creating YouTube videos. People who are creating music videos. People are doing their own kind of gaming. But how do we structure this complete thing? Who are the people who are going to guide them? Are these trainers actually doing this because it's just another job? We are right now responsible for actually projecting our country, our culture, our art, our science, our history, our literature across the globe. Unfortunately, we are not able to develop great content. So like a film like Dangal is seen by certain countries, and we'll talk about the box office success of a Dangal in China and Japan. Whereas a small animation film or any piece of celluloid, for example, a film like 1917, or when you talk about any film that comes in from Korea gets eyeballs world over. These countries do not have that kind of brain power and manpower that we in India have. My request to all our esteemed panelists over these 2 hours is that apart from discussing your core competency areas, is that how do we, the universities, MESC, the NSDC, and the media and entertainment industry comes together to get professionals to come and give Vidyadaan, to encourage trainers to be up to date as to what does the industry actually require. What are the qualities that a professional director of photography or an assistant cinematographer requires so that he or she is on the job the moment he gets his interview? What are the things that the VFX industry desires? What is it that the colorist requires? What is the basic things of sound design? What is production design? How do you actually get into a perfect storyboarding from pen to performance? These are the kind of things that the universities need to actually have a dialogue with our industry, the media and entertainment industry, so that we are able to generate a lot of professionals. Because as you've seen that during this pandemic, the kind of traffic that has gone into streaming platforms, and as we speak today, there are about another 15 big conglomerates who are entering into the streaming industry. VR and AI is going to be big in the times of social distancing, and we are not able to connect with each other. There are going to be various other avenues of communication and entertainment that we will have to live with, and they could be an alternate source of income and entertainment for the industry in the future. We're talking about the reinvention of drive-in theaters. Now, like Mukta Cinemas has already started their first drive-in theater in Bahrain. Now, these are things that are going to re-emerge. There are going to be new means of capturing live performance. There are going to be new means of capturing theater and international collaborations. We are going to have this for the next 1 year, 1.5 years, and they could become an alternate source of entertainment and infotainment in the near future. What I would like to suggest is that uh, all the universities who are here, we need to collectively with the NSDC and the MESC create a kind of a program wherein industry professionals from all crafts offer their services or consultancies, or students from these universities should be encouraged. Like I had mentioned that we at CINTAA or the Federation of Western India Cinema Employees, the unions, the various producers associations, the Producers Guild of India, because these are the people that require trained professionals. The universities, the academics, and the industry needs to come together, have a close dialogue so that the gap is bridged. People get more jobs. We are able to also address the paucity of jobs, or let's say the number of jobs that are available outside. Because the moment that a student from India decides to send his resume across to an international conglomerate, they realize, oh, these are the things that have not been worked upon. So what is the gap for the Indian media and entertainment professionals? Like, for example, when the IITians and the people from the IIMs are able to secure great jobs abroad, why is it that we are not able to develop professionals, whether it is executive producers, line producers, or we're able to, marketing professionals for the M&E industry, or VR specialists, or directors, or DOPs, so that because we're talking about the world shrinking, we're talking about the globally relevant Indian M&E professionals. So the reason that we are having this entire Vidyadaan Carnival is that let us come together, work out a solution in which the practical approach to the M&E trade is applied by the institutes, the education institutes, the universities, and the government is also made aware of the fact that this is how the M&E trade works. Get more working professionals from the trade, encourage them, because I'm sure that a lot of us in this trade, when we feel that we've got untrained professionals working, we are losing time, we encourage the need for professionals to come in, and we can work out a win-win. That's all I have to say. The rest, I think we can take it over the panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. You've actually hit the nail and, identified the lacunae, the gaps which we have in the media and entertainment sector. And you said, we experience this industry academia gap, globally relevant, educated Indian professionals in the media and entertainment industry. That is what we need to address and work on. And then, as you also said, that it is a collective need for everyone to come forward. We need to identify these challenges. We have been working in silos, but now we have to work collectively, identify these challenges and find solutions also together. So that from the word go, when the student or they enter the industry, they are fit to work on that and we don't lose on our productivity and efficiency. So, media and entertainment sector is taking that forward. So with that, I would like to, as we take the discussions with our other esteemed speakers, I would like to invite now our moderator, a very vibrant person, Jay Naresh, who's leading the education initiatives for unity in the Indian subcontinent. He has been an educator for 8 years. He's a technology geek. He has mentored and explored a variety of student and research projects in the new and disruptive technology. We mentioned that the world is changing every bit and it's a disruptive world. And he has also designed games for corporates, edutech companies, and entertainment companies. So with that, I hand over to Jay Naresh for the further proceedings of this session. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction, Ms. Vini. I think you broadly covered every aspect that I wanted to introduce myself about. So thank you everyone for joining us today in this session. I think it's a vibrant session. We are focusing on digital innovations of the day. And in turn, we'll also be discussing what the media professionals need to be trained on in the future. We have focused discussion points so that we all understand where we want to work and align with. We are very happy to bring in this sense of getting together. At the same time, on a lighter note, we want to make the marriages happen literally possible between academia and industry, right? Enabling everybody to make this concept possible. So on this note, I would like to have our first speaker for the day, Dr. Raj Nehru. Raj Nehru is one of the, I would say, youngest vice chancellors in the country, right? And I think it's been of a ride. Everybody hearing about what is happening in Sri Vishwakarma Skills University. People are reaching out across. We have been working with a lot of missions. He has been the forefront, giving everybody the chance to cooperate and get the skills initiative done across. So I invite you to put your inputs and thoughts, especially towards aligning NSQF to higher education and how you could actually formulate the credits currency for students to actually take up this.
First of all, a big thank you to the Media and Entertainment Sector Skill Council for giving this opportunity of speaking today. I know we have 8-10 minutes to speak. So the other thing is I would like to really give my respects and regards to Mr. Amit Behl, one of the well-known industry professional and a very famous entertainer in the industries. It's a privilege to share this dais with him. And also my colleagues, vice chancellors from other universities, including Dr. Roopak Vasishtha as well from the Apparel Sector Skill Council. So thank you very much for inviting. As far as I would like to start first of all, a big congratulations to all of us as a nation. We progress ahead with our new education policy that is going to be a little disruptive in terms of bringing in a shift from a rote learning model to a more application-based and experiential model. That is what the new education policy is envisaging and promising us that it will create new pathways of learning with a very specific focus by breaking the old barriers of containerization of education with specific routes defined like arts, commerce, and science, and breaking that paradigm and bringing it to a more structured focus on elementary education, which they call ECCE, so which is 5 + 3 + 3 + 4. And now this is one of the biggest shifts from the previous experiences that we have had, where the challenge always had been that we always pushed our children towards the end year examination. We never focused on developing their basic abilities. We never focused on the formative stages of their development, and eventually it led to a chaos when the children grew up. And not only the chaos, they had no appreciation for the vocation and the skill. Their major focus was on passing the knowledge-based and knowledge-intensive examination. So I think we must congratulate ourselves that we are now moving into a new era of education. With this, I think where today we have a big challenge that has been grappling, and where the nation has been grappling, because you asked me a very specific question on the integration of vocational education. See, we had a very beautiful model of national skills qualification framework that offers qualification on a graded system between level 1 and 10. And on these levels, we have the knowledge, skill, and aptitude that gets assessed at different proficiency levels. And beauty in this model is that this applies to both formal and non-formal trainings. The only challenge was that the general education and technical education was not harmonizing itself with this national education framework. Now, this qualification framework. But with the new education policy, they have already proposed a creation of a body that is going to create a national education qualification framework in line with the national skill qualification framework. And the objective is to bring the harmonization and standardization of the education qualifications in line with the skill qualification. So this is going to be a big shift in the coming days. What I feel is that it is important for universities. For example, it has already been announced in the policy, but what universities immediately can do, which could have been done earlier as well, that universities at their own level, whether they are general universities, they are technical universities, what they can do, or any other university which is running the programs, they can map all the training programs they are running, whether they are running programs in arts or commerce or science or engineering or whichever way they are running these programs. What is important today is that if they map these qualifications today until the new act comes in, they can actually map these programs with the existing national skill qualification framework offered qualification packs in different sectors. For example, if you have a media and entertainment sector, and in this sector you offer courses which may be in the print industry, which may be in the digital industry or advertisement industry, or gaming and animation, film or television or radio and music industry. So these QPs which are lying in these sectors in the media and entertainment industry, these QPs can be mapped with the nearest qualification that is today being offered by the institutions. Now, by mapping that, what they can easily do is they can unbundle the qualification packs, look at the occupational standards of these QPs, then map those occupational standards to various programs, whether it is BA, BSc, BCom, BTech, or whichever program they are offering, map these occupational standards with the curriculum that they have in their existing program. Now, what will happen by mapping and integrating these occupational standards with the existing programs, it will make programs aligned, whatever program they are offering today, it will make those programs aligned to the market demands of the industry, as well as it will also make compliant to the labor market requirements. And by making it compliant to the labor market requirements, they are increasing the qualification value that today they are offering to the students. But it requires a lot of coordination between the curriculum developers, trainers, trainees, and industry at each competency level, so that they can establish key skills at different stages of attainment, and that can make a promise to any student opting for any of the programs, whether it is BA, BSc, BCom. The second thing what institutions can immediately also do is allow a transfer of credit from vocational education to general education and back by defining credits, because if you have mapped programs to the occupational standards, it's very easy to creditize this process. So if the second step is taken, it will also create a little bit more aspiration for the programs as well as the vocational programs that you are offering. I'll tell you an example. In last few months, we have seen, since the lockdown has come up, the media and entertainment industry has played a big role. In fact, the role they played is they kept people engaged and busy. But the role of this industry is also, if you look at with the advent of time now, the gaming and animation will play a big role in the education industry. Let me tell you, most of the students now in future would be looking at doing practical works or learning certain hands-on experience through simulative technologies, through gaming technologies, through virtual and augmented reality. Now, in that entire model, the role of people who have the skills like a layout designer or a storyboard artist or an animation director or someone who has experience in graphic designing. Now, these kind of skill sets will help the institutions to recreate and redefine certain job roles, and they can be integrated very easily into it. I also feel that the recognition of prior learning for higher education can also be thought of, because today we are only looking RPL for the bulky base of the country, which is one important thing that we need to do so that we recognize people who have some of the experience without any education. But there is also another area that RPL has to look at, and universities have to play a role in it. They have to make sure that this RPL is taken for higher education model, where the creditization, where the credit is allocated and aligned for a student who wants to pursue for higher education, and the mapping is done for maybe at a DVOC level, at the BVOC level, or the MVOC level. This is going to again create some kind of aspiration for the youngsters. The third important thing is industry alignment, and we heard the honorable guest talking about it. Today we are lacking big way on mapping with the industry, and this mapping of the industry is very critical. And in Sri Vishwakarma Skill University, we have beautifully done this. All our programs today are run in a dual education industry integrated model, where every program that we offer, whether we offer the program in robotics or artificial intelligence or industrial electronics, automotive manufacturing, mechatronics, food, health, technology, media, entertainment, whichever program we are today offering in this university in the form of a DVOC or a BVOC or an MVOC, and now we are going for a PhD in skills as well. Every program has a partnering industry. So what does the partnering industry do? The program that we develop it around keeping the labor market requirements in mind, keeping the industry requirements in mind, keeping the job roles in mind, and then we redefine certain job roles and we creditize the work that a student will be gaining by doing that work. So what happens when the curriculum is developed? 40% of the curriculum is delivered in a campus model, and 60% of the curriculum is delivered by working on those job roles that we have tied up with the industry. Now, the work is also defined. So when a student goes to the industry and performs the work as an apprentice or an intern, the work is recorded, the experience is recorded, the experience is tested, and based on those tests, the credits are offered to that. So the credits of work and the credits earned in the class are combined for a student to earn a qualification level, which is mapped to the nearest job role. So which actually makes students job ready. And by the time a student completes a program, a student is already offered a job by the industry. And this is what is happening in the university now. And given the flexibility of entry and exit, means if a student enters at one level but do not want to go to the next level, he or she can exit at that level with a specific qualification mapped to that specific job role and enter into a work, and then maybe come back after some time in case the student wants to pursue. So I think this has also been brought in into the new education policy, and I think with that, it's going to create a lot of disruption in the coming days. So I'm stopping here. I think with this new education policy, the reimagination of vocational education is really going to create more credibility and respect for the programs and the qualification that we are going to offer by partnering with various stakeholders closely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Raj Nehru. I think that was very enlightening to understand how NSQF prepares a course, get them aligned, and especially the insight that 60% people are actually part of this particular initiative, go on the ground, work with the industry, and the 40% is what actually comes in. Now, we have been seeing this clash, right, where we have always kept knowledge and skilling separate. And when we take to an initiative to make this, we want to understand how the opinions of partnering with Sector Skill Council is enabling people to create these kind of industry-led vocational courses. So on this regards, I would like to invite Mr. Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra, who is one of the Vice Chancellors for Shobhit University in Meerut. And he's going to give us how his initiatives of empowering the rural youth, where he is taken into commitment, right, of how the skilling education is being used, what tools are being practically employed, and how he has actually volunteered and doing a very philanthropic initiative there.
So thank you very much. And thank you to Media and Entertainment Skill Council for inviting me today. I'm not an educationist actually, and it is good to be with so many educationists, so many vice chancellors. I am a social entrepreneur and the chancellor of Shobhit University. After listening to Mr. Amit Behl and Dr. Raj Nehru, I'm more clear that what I have to speak, and it is always a pleasure to listen to Mr. Dr. Raj Nehru. As you mentioned, like when I look at skill development, especially in rural areas, we have two universities. One of them is in Meerut and second one is in district Saharanpur in a small town called Gango. In 2007, I was traveling to many countries when one of our university was notified. And during those travel times, when I went to Dubai, I had a curiosity to meet some of the people, those who are working there. So I asked one of my hosts to take me to a labor camp. And when I went to those labor camps, I found that there were many people, those who were skilled, those who had knowledge of the subject, but they were not formally certified. That's why they were living in labor camps. And many of them were coming from the area, from Meerut, Muzaffarnagar, Saharanpur, like my own area. So when I asked them what is there, they said there is no recognition of earlier learning. Everybody wants a certificate. After coming back, I decided to establish a center. We called it ISDC, International Skill Development Center. NSDC was not there at that time. And I invited the then Labor Minister, Oscar Fernandez, and I asked him, okay, why don't you inaugurate it? And the idea behind it was that whatever people are there, those who have some skills, we will certify them, and some formal training we will give them, and we will certify them. And this part we started not only in India, we started in countries like Mongolia, Vietnam. We had our own chapters, and in India, we were doing it with the Nehru Yuva Kendra because they have their presence in all the districts, and we decided we will do it everywhere. Then NSDC came, and everything was formalized. A formal structure was there, and everything was there. But my take on NSDC was always, now however it has changed, that in initial stage, NSDC was skilling those who were not willing to be skilled, and they were skilled by those who were not knowing how to skill them. Because neither the universities were approached, nor the schools, institutions of higher education. They were skilled by some people like some agencies, some NGO, those who were not having neither infrastructure nor willingness. So they were subletting to somebody else, and a chain was going for many years, which actually spoiled the complete skill development initiative of the country in initial years. I'm really happy that new education policy is talking about it. Today, we are very seriously thinking about it. We are having wonderful universities like Vishwakarma Skill Universities, which is dedicated for the same purpose. When I look at Shobhit University or other universities, one, we have to understand that are we opening schools of industry or schools for industry? There had been a concept in Germany and England where there were schools of industry. a certain trade and there was a school and people were going there and they were earning money also. Morning they were going to the factory, to the plant, and evening they were taking certain trades, certain skills. But if we feel that the same schools we can replicate in our universities, I personally believe that a traditional university cannot do it. One, we do not know what skills may be required in future, and skills also have a shelf life. Two, this alignment with the industry, however, whatever we talk, we had always been separate verticals. That alignment is not there, which will come when their industry will have a trust. And they will say, when I will have a problem, I will go to nearest university. I will ask them to find a solution for me. Research and innovation when we talk about. So what we did in Shobhit University, we developed a SEIZ there. This is called Skill Entrepreneurship Innovation Zone. And what is this zone all about? This is a zone where we have invited MSMEs of the area, and we are now part of skill councils like MESC, and we are trying to use the infrastructure available with the MSMEs, with the university, and the aspiration and the mission of these councils, and trying to implement it. Because we have to see first the aspiration of the local youth and then to give them training, instead of giving them training first and then look at what they actually wanted to do. And we are trying to integrate with the requirements of local MSMEs. And it has brought a change. If we look at the new education policy, which very elaborately talk about reimagining of vocational education, it is talking about BVOC also. A brief is there that BVOC, which was started in 2013, it will continue. However, there will be other programs or integration of vocational education in other degree programs also. One of the biggest concern I have seen that in universities, those who were traditional universities or technical universities, when we started BVOC program, at maximum of the places, it was not a very successful experiment. And why so happened? Because, you know, it reminds me of an example of nano car. A wonderful project was there of Tata, a dream project of Tata. But a perception went that it is only for poor people. Tata nano car is for poor people and it failed. The same thing happened, unfortunately, with BVOC, that BVOC is an alternative of ITIs and polytechnics. And people, those who are looking for such type of job, they should go for it. That perception has to be changed. And I'm happy that many of our universities, they are changing this perception. Media and Skill Council, Entertainment and Skill Council, if I look at, they are changing the perception because now advanced and latest training programs are being aligned with the university programs. And now that alignment has to be there, what Professor Nehru was mentioning, that in our degree programs, we have to align these skill sets. Instead of having some separate certificate diploma program, if they will be there, I feel that that challenge will always remain there. And this challenge, if we wish to address, we have to develop in our universities a fluid skill mindset of our students. Because if we look at today's scenario in last 5 months, what happened? Even with the best skills, people were sitting at home. Those who were not able to adopt new things, those who were not willing to accept the change. So those skills also need to be brought. And this Lok Vidya, like many initiatives are there in the government. I always believe, like in an Australian system, there is TEF. We had ITIs and polytechnics. And TEF was technical and further education institutions actually. And in India, I believe we need technical and functional education institutes where we can train our youth to apply whatever they have learned. Skill councils also have to come out of certain I should not use that word, but I always use that certain fixed boxes are there. In today's world, we have to come out of that box. And I'm happy that especially Media and Entertainment Skill Council is coming out as we are working with them. And we have to do something new and innovative. I congratulate the council for having this Vidyadaan virtual carnival. It's a learning session for me because we started in 2007 with ISDC. We wish that that initiative should continue. We have so many wonderful councils in India, and the expected result, what we all are expecting, can come when 1,000+ universities will join, and we can only join when that flexibility will be there to join as per a partner, as adding value to our existing programs. So in rural area, many things are happening. A lot of potential is there, possibilities are there. We have to come and join hands there and work together. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for that sweet and short session, sir. In fact, I think you have parallelly walked us through to what happens, when vocational education gets imparted into mainstream education. And I think this is the concept that, right from the Gurukul ages, we already been having, and we are just innovating on it to get more digital and more innovative. So on similar lines of this discussion, I would like to call Professor Samita Rani. And she is the fellow of Royal Society Arts, and she's also fellow of Computer Society of India. And we are going to have our opinions directed at her and understand what it is to have as a mainstream course like science, commerce, and arts, how they can actually take up the vocational education and bring this needed change into society. Ma'am, do we have you online?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I am not unmuted myself. Sorry for that.
All right.
Yeah, most respected Mr. Amit Behl, who is a very well-known figure in this country, and we all are proud of to share the session with you. Thank you for that, and thanks to the Media Entertainment Skill Council for inviting us. Yes, today we all are discussing about a very important topic of this national education policy. I think that in this new national education policy, one great decision is integrating the vocational education with the traditional education. Being in academic sector for last 25 years, we all are discussing about compartmentalization of education in this country. If you see the establishment of institutions in this country, say after independence, we all are finding that mostly the science, arts, commerce, engineering, medical education, it has been separated, I can say that, separated, and it has been isolated. The education system has been isolated from each other, and the institutions have been established, and the education system, in the way it's running, perhaps we are just following the we are saying that we are following a very focused education system. But with that, if we compare the Indian education system with the education system of any other developed countries, can be the US, Europe, London, anywhere, you will be finding that when we say that we have established the institution of national importance of engineering as IITs, the institution of national investment in IIMs, we all find that it's very much compartmentalized. And when we said it is focused, yes, it's focused, but it's isolated. And since last 1 decade, we all are discussing that how we can make a very integrated education system in our country. As such, we can divert our focus for the integrated research and integrated education system. In my university in KIIT, we offer around 200 courses. Of course, now almost all the IITs and trying to be multidisciplinary. They have established the schools of management. Some IITs have established the school of law. Some have established the school of medical technology, some have established schools of social sciences, and we are trying to develop a multidisciplinary ambience. We are trying to develop a multidisciplinary academic system in our Indian universities. And as we are mostly, KIIT is mostly known for engineering and management education. Of course, we are offering 200 programs, including the medical, dental sciences, biotechnology, everything, but mostly the engineering and management. In last few years, before 7 years, we also started to integrate the skill education with the mainstream education of engineering. And we established one school of advanced skill. And through that, what we did, we invited different industries and we signed the MOUs with them. And as for our system, we defined that at least 12 to 16 credit for each and every engineering discipline will be offered by the by the industries itself. So we tied up with Simplex, we tied up with IBM, we tied up with Tech Mahindra, we tied up with many industries, and with some industries, they agreed to train our faculty members and try to prepare themselves to offer those courses designed by the industries. And few industries were agreed that they will come to in-campus. There, the professionals from the industries stay in campus for 3 to 6 months. They teach our students, and the students get the opportunity to interact with them. They get the opportunity to develop the project with them. Apart from that, another one model was developed that the students, those who go for summer internship, they will directly go to the industries. They will do their internship there. We had tie up with them. They will be working there for around 2 to 6 months as per the requirement of the industries and the type of program the students are selected or they want to be involved, and they work there for that particular period of time. And we make the equivalence of that work either with the project work or with the internship work as per the work they do in the industry itself. So that certain model slowly we developed in last 4 to 5 years. But this national education policy, whatever you are talking about, integrating the skill with mainstream education, particularly what we find that today, while we talk about the skill, not only we talk about the skill on a particular area, we talk about human skill, social skill, intellectual skill, and professional skill. And while whatever we are talking about the skill before few years, maybe in last 4 to 5 years, we are mostly talking about the professional skill. But while we talk about innovation and research, while we talk about internationalization of our education system, how to develop the capability in the students or the youth of this country, then we mostly talk about the human skill, that how to develop the critical thinking, the analytical skill of the students in the university system itself. So the national education policy, as it gives us a very broad guidelines, that now the skill education will be integrated with the mainstream education. Of course, as I said, KIIT was doing, maybe some other institutions in this country they are doing, they have integrated the skill education with the mainstream education. But now we shall be getting a very broad guidelines. Yes, this integration is possible and this is the way for this. We are also working with NSDC, National Skill Development Council. We are training around 5,000 students every year. We are imparting them different skills, and we are also recruiting them. KIIT is one of the prominent institutions for recruiting the skilled trained professional in this country, maybe. And for that, what I am seeing that's also a parallel system we are running. But there is no system that we can integrate them. We are also having one industrial training institution where we offer ITI of 2 years course. But if you keenly observe the future of vocational training courses in this country, ITI or diploma, after doing ITI, those students, if they are joining the job, we find that those ITI and diploma trained people, they are having no or very limited scope of growth in their lives. Or there is very limited scope to integrate themselves with the mainstream education in future. Of course, in my state, there is a policy or the system. AICT also has approved for the diploma engineering students before few years, maybe before 1 decade, that those who do diploma, they can go for doing bachelor's of engineering with 1 year concession if they are having certain percentage. And if not, they can go for 4 years courses. For ITI students, that sort of facility is there. But directly in the industry, if anyone is joining after diploma or ITI, there is very limited scope for growth in their career. So if we are integrating the vocational courses, and as we are talking about the Bachelor of Vocational courses today, maybe those vocational training people who goes for the vocational training, normally we find that the students, those who are in lower middle class, or the poor background, those who cannot afford for mainstream education, those who can afford that much of time in education itself, and they need the job immediately after completion of their training, those people go for the vocational courses and maybe ITI diploma or skill development program. And if now the effort is being given that skill education will be part of the mainstream education, and in mainstream education also we are going for the credit banking system, the certification courses, the diploma courses, in the whole time we'll be investing in higher education. I think it will help a lot to the youth of this country to get associated with the education system. Maybe the students those who are joining in bachelor's program, they're completing 1 year, they're getting a certificate, and skill is integrated with that. Maybe it will give an opportunity to the students to get associated with the education system. And it will improve, it will help them a lot. It will help the education system a lot for increasing our GER through this. And it will help the also the education system, to national education system of this country to increase GER through the digital enrollment also. So I would like to thank the Media and Entertainment Skill Council for inviting me. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for those insights. One of the takeaway from that is, there are multiple ways of achieving and giving opportunity and pathways to students, right? And I think it's a very interesting takeaway I'm getting from that, because I would like to ask the same question to the SSC team here. In fact, especially to Mr. Roopak Vasishtha, because he comes from the SSC and he is the general director of the apparel section, right? I would like to understand, especially from him, how SSC, juggles between these multiple, initiatives. Like, are we doing multiple jobs, getting the industry, getting the academia, getting the NSDC to understand the focus for the industry, and getting academicians to also follow on the system? So what do you think would be, how do you think the SSC is contributing to this whole career growth of and pathways are available in this?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Amit ji, basically, I am from the Apparel Sector Skill Council, but not very far from the media, because in fact, I am an approved announcer with the All India Radio. I have been announcing and giving my voiceovers for good 20-25 years. So, but let me, right now I'm leading the Apparel, Made-ups and Home Furnishing Sector Skill Council. Before I reach out to the topic given to me, let me just just very briefly inform the House that, as per my understanding, after spending around 6 years in the hardcore skilling field, and after having worked with the National Skills Development Corporation, Ministry of Skill Development, and various universities and the entire ecosystem, I have understood one thing which Dr. Raj Nehru had actually raised prominently. The biggest gift to the country right now is the National Skills Development Qualification, the NSQF. Why? I'll just briefly touch upon that. Basic reason. We have right from 30-40 years, we have given too much emphasis on the education side, rightly so, fine. But the skilling had a kind of people who didn't used to get admission in a normal course normally used to go for skilling kind of Second part, the skilling normally used to be just considered a kind of shop floor, limited to shop floor. I mean, these were the two reasons why the skills somehow didn't get the kind of respect which ought to have been given to them. But this NSQF, the National Skills Qualification Framework, has actually brought in the main purpose, in addition to all other aims which the NSQF fulfills, is giving respect to the skills actually, because right up to level 4 it's a shop floor level, 5, 6 it's a supervisory level, 7, 8 it's the managerial level, and 9 and 10, well, CEO and the MDs of the organization. And we all at the level of CEO or at the level of MD, I mean, we normally feel we are born skilled. We are absolutely skilled at all levels. Well, I can be a good general manager. I can be a good supervisor. And right now I'm a CEO of an organization. Am I skilled properly or not? So this particular aspect actually, the NSQF actually, hunts this particular aspect, and this fulfills the requirements. Now, let me just very briefly touch upon my sector right now, though the focus right now is that media sector. But let me just mention briefly about my sector. Well, the Apparel Sector Skill Council, like any other sector skill council, is associated with the National Skills Development Corporation and works under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. We have around 4,500 training partners attached to us. 46 assessment agencies are there. 350 master trainers are there. And we have developed the qualification packs, the standards, for 45 job roles. And since 2014, till now, we have skilled and certified more than 12 lakh persons across the country. And incidentally, Apparel was considered as the highest employment generator also by the NSDC in the previous year. Right now, the data is yet to come for this year, but till last year, the highest employment generator was Apparel Sector Skill Council. We are quite prevalent in the schools as well as in colleges. Now, there was a very valid, question raised by the earlier esteemed speaker about the BVOC course, the Bachelor of Vocational Studies course. Now, with due respects to everybody, we feel that perhaps the kind of what ought to have been taught in that in the BVOC courses perhaps was not there till now. Now the industry bodies like Media Entertainment Sector Skill Council in their sector, Apparel Sector Skill Council in our sector, now we are working, since we are industry bodies per se. So what the industry actually needs, now the BVOC courses are being designed, or many other courses are being designed to fulfill the actual requirement of the industry. As another esteemed speaker just said, that the people from ITIs and all that, they are not that, they lack some practical skills or something. Fine. So here, the BVOC courses till now, this is our observation, that till now the whatever had been designed was fine, absolutely fine. But when the industry body itself, designs those courses, there's a difference. The difference would certainly be there on the plate. For example, let's say Mr. Subhash Ghai. If he gives his advice on something for some particular project, that's one part. But if he designs something himself, so that would be exactly what the film industry right now needs, or the media industry right now needs. Similarly, whatever is right now being made by the sector skill councils basically reflects what the industry actually needs. Now, and specifically other, other players, the skill universities have come up. I mean, they're doing wonderful job. Like Vishwakarma University is there. Dr. Raj Nehru is will vouch for this. I mean, they're doing excellent job for this this particular part. Again, bringing in the connect with the industry. I would like to just touch one more point related to our standards versus the international standards. 4 years back, under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, the sector skill councils of India were connected to the sector skill councils of UK. So our standards were compared with their standards, and then the transnational standards were made. We went over there and then they came over here. There was a long exercise. After that, the transnational standards were made. And somehow that has not yet been able to come up in the practical shape. But what we observed at that time was that the standards which we had were not less, actually not, I mean, the quality or the standards was at par, if not more, than the international standards, specifically UK. So, and there were, in fact, many aspects were there where we were faring better than them. I mean, it's not that everywhere we were less or at par, that there were many aspects where we were better than them, actually. So my suggestion here is that since this, the BVOC, now one more point would like to just add here is that why BVOC course earlier normally was not gaining the popularity. Earlier there was a kind of suspicion in the minds, and since things were not very clear that whether the BVOC course was equivalent to a graduation level or not. Now, later on, the UGC issued clarification, and through a notification, they've actually notified that the BVOC course actually is equivalent to graduation level. So I think with the industries, coming in and designing these courses, the BVOC courses, and the clarification issued by the UGC regarding this equivalence to the graduation courses, perhaps the BVOC course now, which are being designed, and BVOC courses being designed maybe at the skill universities, are certainly going to be followed by the students very much. And I'm sure this is what the industry also would need, basically what the industry needs, these BVOC courses would be able to fulfill. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the insights on that. I think one of the key initiatives in this discussion is we'll be moving just from an academic or a skilling perspective into making these skilled professionals not alone just job takers, but also, we want them to generate a jobs moving forward. And we have been working with a lot of insights into this particular initiative. And I think we are moving beyond in this particular zone, where we are going to get insights from Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, Vice Chancellor of Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, where we are going to see how this whole alignment can be done and how this particular concept can coexist with all these initiatives together.
Thank you very much.
Can you hear us, sir? Are you there?
Yeah, I am there. Are you able to listen me?
Yes, clear.
Okay. First of all, I thank Media and Entertainment Skill Council for inviting me to be part of this Vidyadaan virtual carnival. The topic today I have chosen is moving beyond academics, creating leaders and entrepreneurs. This is very, very important topic, and I see that our national education policy, our new education policy is addressing all these issues concerning the leadership and the entrepreneurship. First of all, I see, for example, we allow our students to participate in various activities, whether it is NSS, NCC, or other youth festival and things like that. I think they learn a lot of things to work at least in a team, and obviously some will become leaders who will lead the teams, right? So these are the important parameters, but this is for the first time when we are thinking that these activities will be having some credit. That's a very important step the government has taken, that these activities can be assigned some credits, and these leadership obviously they come through participation of the other activities than just in the classroom teaching. And obviously we have to develop the ecosystem for this. The participation has to be there, and it is not only that we develop the leaders through these programs, but we have to develop the leaders in all field of sphere, all sphere of life, because it's not, because whenever you say that we have a, even if it's a small academic department, that somebody is running that department as a chairperson or a director, whatever, the capacity, he is leading that the department, and that leadership is also required. That is academic leadership is required, that you have to develop such kind of thing. That will also come only through, I will say, when we have a person who's really, have the participated in a good quality of the research, or I will say the teaching, and so, because only that can bring the confidence of becoming a leader as academic leader. So such kind of thing has to become only through the real kind of academic work or teaching work or the research. So that simply means that we have to improve the quality of our teaching and research also. So that will make the better leader. So that is what we learned, that from the better institutes, we have got so many leaders who are leading the various academic institutions and so on, right? So it is a confidence which also matters, that what you can do and what you can't do. So the quality of the leadership, it will be depending upon what kind of quality of education, what kind of research, or what kind of the extracurricular activities we are making to participate in our students. Right. So the other thing I would say is very linked with this topic is the entrepreneurship. Right. We say the how entrepreneurship becoming. What is the ultimate aim of a student is to essentially, to earn their livelihood. Right. That could be through the job, or through if they become something as an entrepreneur. Right. So we can get the entrepreneurs from the two kind of the opportunities. We say whether they get the job or the no jobs, right? Sometimes we see that those who do not get the job, they become the entrepreneurs, and they really become a really success. So that is one story when we can say that when you don't get a job, you turn out to be entrepreneur, and you really surpass many people, the others. So that is one story. But we as a education institution, we should work on that people have the job and still they want to become entrepreneur. That is our job should be, or as an institutional job should be, and that is the way I see that our national new education policy has worked on. For example, if I say that our students has to be innovative, that if you say that our students are to be innovative, that means they have to think differently. They have to bring new things in the new things, and that is to be converted into a marketable idea. That means some new products can come out of it. So that can happen only if we make our teachers to work on innovation, right? So innovation that means the teacher has to be encouraged for their innovation, and their skill has to be improved. And I think I saw that there is a provision in the national education policy where you can incentivize the teachers, and you can give them an increment. All these things are available in this national education policy. So that is very important when we say that we will make our teachers more and more innovative. And if they become more innovative, they will be involving the students. Younger students are more innovative, I see. So when you involve younger students, even the BTech students in the research or the innovative things, there will be something which will be coming up, right? So that such kind of thing, then this how this leads to entrepreneurship. This education policy talk about the flexibility in terms of, let's say, entry and exit. Entry and exit is there. You can enter anytime, exit anytime. For example, if you're the first year, we take first year, second year, you get some idea, you want to convert into something as an entrepreneur, and you want to become an entrepreneur, and then you decided, okay, so that is freedom you get. Because I see the entrepreneurs becoming an entrepreneur is you should have the capacity to have risk, right? So capacity to have risk, that is there in, I will say, most of the developed country, because their people are not bothered about whether they get the job or not, because their livelihood is almost safe, right? So, but here it is very, very risky. If a person who is intelligent, who is brilliant, he get a job, he will be satisfied with that. Right? Maybe in getting a multinational job, maybe earn 2 lakhs of rupees, but still he will not like to go to entrepreneurship because he finds it's a very risky. Right?
Agree.
So yeah, so that is the point. Sort of the risk capacity of a student has been increased in this national education policy, at least by their career wise. The rest of thing is we are to generate as a university administrator. We have to generate the innovations cells and incubation cell where we can help them in startups and things like activities. So that is the kind we are to work on it. The education policy is, I think, has the parameter where we can, entrepreneurship can be introduced. So I think the creating leadership and the entrepreneurship activity has been included in this national education policy. And we are to, as an education institution, we are to work on it, how we can implement this in the coming years. So with these words, I once again thank the Media Entrepreneurs Guild for giving me the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights on leadership and entrepreneurship and getting that, and how it has become a need and necessity today for universities to have their own incubation center. Now, on similar lines to that, one of the discussions from the previous things what we have had is it is not yet aspirational for people to actually proceed with the chance to have skilling as part of the courses. So we're going to have Dr. Sibaram Khara, Vice Chancellor of Sharda University, who will actually share the insights of how we could make skilling aspirational for the youth with both academic recognition and any of the other recognitions in the process to actually get it approved. Dr. Sibaram Khara.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me in this excellent panel discussions. My special thanks to Media and Entertainment Skill Councils and also Vidyadaan Virtual Carnival. And good afternoon to all distinguished panelists. And I am honored to share this virtual platform with Mr. Amit Behl, the famous film and television actor. So I will be just focusing on the skilling aspirations and then earning or gaining certain academic credentials, that credits in the part of study or program. And the journalist has rightly expressed that the vocational education to skilled professional. I think this national education policy has very rightfully and very meticulously it has explained just to motivate bring the motivations and importance of the vocational educations. and how this vocational education credit-based evaluations will be there, so that no such vocational educations or training certificate, even diploma or ITI, wasted, and any students can pursue higher educations, transferring entire credit. And this is the brilliant and very encouraging reforms has been brought into the new the education policy, national education policy, where we are expecting that vocational educations will increase currently from 3% to 50% by 2050. And the very long visions and very positive visions has been given here. The major issues is that this vocational and certificate training and then making inspiration for the youth, it is there. But here I will highlight that in the bachelor's or in the certificate or degree programs in higher study, how do we actually give the skilling so that the skilled professionals are produced? And in national education policy already they have outlined that one of the major problems based on which the national education policy framed is the cognitive skills, lagging of the cognitive skills, and the current academic system unable to produce the expected learning outcomes. Besides, a few more important points are there, where fragmented education system, limited access for socially, economically disadvantaged group, and also large affiliating colleges where there is no exposure to the multidisciplinary study. Of course, the cognitive skills, it was there, and I think last 5-6 years in few of the professional and bachelor's program, the outcome-based education have been introduced, and we are talking about the cognitive skills, the program outcomes and course outcomes, all those things. But again, issues is that during the tour of study, how do we bring the inspiration for the higher study students or graduate and undergraduate students to have these skills, so that we can produce skilled professionals, employable professionals, or even we can produce entrepreneurs. That is the motivations for the national education policy. And national education policy is emphasizing on a lot of methods, a lot of techniques, and a lot of processes through which the contents to be delivered or programs to be offered, by making it the learner-centered learning, and they are emphasizing on conceptual learning, rather rote learning, so that they can visualize the knowledge and they can put into applications. Multidisciplinary exposure and holistic development, jack of all trades, but master in one, so that they can link their in-depth knowledge with the other discipline, identifying the problem and giving the solutions. Experiential learning, engaging students in inquiry-driven learning, discovery-oriented learning, and then give entire flexible learning environment, project-based learning, research-based learning, entrepreneurship-based learning, and applied learning. So all these content delivery methods are methods of implementation of the curriculum and techniques or the ways to engage the students in different activities to be implemented. Now, the challenges will be there for each educational institute to implement it and to bring out quickly the implementation framework. As in national education policy, also it is suggested that every institute should formulate the institute implementation framework. But when we are talking about this, basically it is an extensive choice-based credit system with complete cafeteria approach, giving options to the students to learn anything and then to earn the credit through it. Various modes of learning, modes of studies and activities. So each and every institutes, now we have to reform our curriculum structures, operational, the methodology inside the campus, so that we can facilitate the students to have know their study as per their own choice and without conflict of the timetable or of the interest. So students' skilling aspirations must be also supported in the institute by providing appropriate nurturing platform. So whatever interest they show, and they want to do develop or whatever they want to do, so we must have that platform so that they are nurtured properly. Skilling aspirations shall be promoted. The promotion policy should be there. Ecosystem is to be built up. Then proper ambience should be ensured. And then necessary facilities, policies, support, and resources. Your IT facilities, the laboratories, necessary softwares, equipments, experts, and other infrastructures, so that we give complete a platform so the students can develop their skills. Now, most important thing, as all the panelists are emphasizing, including Amit Behl, that appropriate industry collaborations, a very effective and meaningful industry collaborations must be done through industry interface cell of the university or institutes, or through faculty level for training, scaling, funding, internship, technology development, and commercializations of the innovations. Basically, I can say that 4 verticals must be identified where industry should support, and then each verticals we must explore with the industry what they can do. It is a students vertical where students internship, students projects, students training, students placement, and students doing the projects. And then faculty verticals, it is a joint research, high-end training to the faculty, industry and faculty collaborated research, joint funded project proposal, all those things to be explored. And then industry support for laboratory development and giving the industry resources for the academics or in the industry. Either some of the resources can be created inside the campus, or industry can share certain resources and give access to the students or faculty member, so that those are the high-end equipments, exposure will be there, operation experiment, working experience will be there, and they can utilize for the research purpose as well. And the 4th vertical, I will highlight that it is the blended curriculum. We have high-end research expertise in the industry. Those industries come to the institutes and can deliver a very industry experts lectures or industry and academia blended curriculum. But I will suggest that only industry engagement may not be suffice. The community engagement, as it is emphasized by the National Education Policy, will be very, very important. Each and every students should visit the community and they should understand the lifestyles of the people, and so that they can identify the real life problem, and then based on the real life problem, they can really identify what is the awareness level, service actually required, needs specifications, and then what problems they are facing, and then making the product or as per the affordability of the community in different sections. I think this will give the complete, if we make the complete citizens with understanding of the life cycles of the people, I think that will be very helpful, and it is also emphasized by the National Education Policy. And third aspects, what I want to highlight is that the evaluation scheme. Once we think that any skilling activities of the students, the due amount of credit is to be given. As we know that students can earn the credits, and those credits can be deposited in the academic bank of credit with proper certificate or mark sheet, and that those can be transferred to study further. So in higher education system, the solid definitions of evaluation scheme must be in place, and that must be known to the students as well, so that what kind of works to be done, and then how much credits they are going to earn. And for each and every activities, a faculty mentor should be there, so that they are guided continuously. Each evaluation shall have credit based, it shall be credit based and equivalent credit to be considered and given to the students for any activity after proper evaluations. So appropriate credits will be given, then only it will have more interest, and that credits may be or shall be the part of the fulfillment of the program. It will be part of the program credits. So continuous comprehensive evaluations and formative assessment should be there for such activities. And as already we are telling that national education policy already highlighted and emphasized that achievement-based assessment, that is outcome-based assessment should be there. For that necessary rubrics are will designed, and very high-end parameters, performance parameters, or well-defined performance parameters and expectations and marking schemes will be described, and those things can be shared with the students so that students will prepare accordingly and they can come out with better result and better outcome of each and every such skilling activities. I think this is already highlighted that National Skill Qualification Framework and National Higher Education Qualification Framework, they must be integrated and their proper mapping should be there of the credit so that the NSQF and from there, the NHEQF, that is National Higher Education Qualification Framework, if credits are transferred, and that will be very, very encouraging. And I think India will produce a very skilled force as well as skilled professional both. So with these words, I will stop here. Thank you very much.
I was running out of paper. I was running out of paper making a note of that. In fact, if you could mail those detailed things across to the SSC, right? I think that'll be a little more. So thank you so much, sir. I think that was too brief, but I'm going to bring one point that you mentioned, right? Especially where you said giving the students the experience of the lifestyle of the industry, which is required to take it forward and go ahead. Right now, apart from that, we also see that there is a lot of asks, but what is actually coming on the sector skills and what is the changes to be expected? So we are going to bring in Ms. Rekha Menon. She is the head of education initiatives in NSDC, and we are going to have her express what we can expect in the skilling ecosystem under the new education policy as well. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm grateful to Media and Entertainment and exciting, and it is very close to my heart because, you know, at NSDC, I had the education vertical and I've been in the education and skilling space for more than 13 years now. So, so before I start, I wanted to inform the audience that today I'm going to talk about the models and processes of aligning vocational studies with higher education, and also will briefly touch upon on the national education policy. As you all are aware that the All India Survey on Higher Education 1718, which the Ministry of Education and the Department of Higher Education has, come out, it has estimated that 36.6 million students, which comes to a gross enrollment ratio of 25.8%, and the dropout rate at each level is on the higher side. At the same time, there is a significant gap in the industry exposure for these students. Graduates who are coming out of the college. On the other hand, we are aware that the industry is looking at skilled manpower, but the students who are coming out of the college are not equipped enough to take on the absorb in the industry. So to bridge this gap, right now we have two national policies in place. One is the National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship 2020, and you are all aware that the National Education Policy of 2020. So if I look at this higher education by converting all polytechnics to community colleges, which will provide NSQF aligned vocational courses and also bachelors of vocational studies. These courses will be aligned to the credit framework, which can provide horizontal and vertical mobility. Further, it also says that 25% of all existing institutions of higher education would offer add-on career-oriented courses with specialized skills at an appropriate level of NSQF. I'm not going to give details about NSQF. The earlier panelists have spoken about it. If anybody is interested to understand the national skills qualification side, and I would request those who are in the in the implementation side should definitely look at NSQF framework. It also talks about how the government should align their recruitment norm to the skills qualification. So the importance of introducing skills in formal education by the government clearly indicates the way forward for all of us for building the institutional mechanism for skilling. This will not only help in bridging the gap between the academia and the industry, but also address the issues like, the reduction of dropout rates, making skilling more aspirational, the dignity of labor, and also, addressing the negative perception towards vocational education. I know that today we have panelists from the education, the academia field, and also there will be a lot of university and the college professors who are attending this webinar. We all are aware that, students who comes and take admission would definitely like to take admission for science and then commerce and then arts. And BVOC, the new program, the takers are very less because, there's a lot of negative perception which has been, there for these kinds of programs. So that's important that, until and unless we don't embed these skills into the mainstream education, it won't become aspirational and, everybody wanting to take these kind of courses. Further, if I talk about the national education policy, it has also laid impetus on vocational education. I was glad when we're doing the draft review, there was a full chapter on vocational education, and this is what we were all looking for, which has, which has made emphasis on practice-based curriculum from class 6 to 8, where, the students from class 6 to 8 can do internship with local vocational experts such as carpenters or potters or gardeners, etc., so that they can develop vocational craft. The policy also talks about the 21st century skills in teaching, learning, and assessment. And one more important thing, which is also talking about, is by 2025, at least 50% of learners shall have exposure to vocational education. This is a very important thing which has been emphasized on the education policies. And we at NSDC and our ministry is working with the Ministry of Education to ensure that, we can work for making this happen. I would like to inform the audience that the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, through the National Skill Development Corporation, has set up 37 sector skill councils. So the SSCs are basically an industry body who ensure that, we can bridge the gap between the industry demands and what the skilling requirement ought to be. Just to give you information, there are around 600 plus corporate representatives in the governing board of the Sector Skill Council. The important task which the Sector Skill Council does is to create the national occupational standard, which is a most significant contribution to the Indian skilling ecosystem. That means that in a layman's language, when I say what is national occupational standard, it's basically a competencies which is required to perform for a particular job. So if I say driver as a job role or teacher as a job role, what are the competency or skills required for a person to perform that job? So the sector skill councils are responsible to create these kind of standards, which through a process becomes a national standards. And the education institution can pick up these standards to embed into their curriculum and ensure that their students are trained as per the industry requirement. um, I would also like to emphasize here that in this 37 sector skill council, we have one specific council, which is skill council for the person with disability. Because so for inclusive, work, we have this council who ensure that the training requirements for students who are candidates who are special children, person with disability, are being taken care. So this particular SSC Sector Skill Council create training standards which are required for special students and ensure that it has been embedded with the domain skills and students can be made employable so that they can be absorbed in the industry. So before I share what we are currently doing in the higher education space, since we have audience from the higher education space, I would like to inform you all that we as at NSDC and sector skill councils are also working in the school space. This I'm specifically mentioning because all our students who are coming in the higher education space are doing the 10+2 and coming. So if we can look at these kinds of students who are already doing vocational education in the school space, they have a desire to come into this particular education. So it would be easy if we can give a vertical mobility for them in the higher education space. So as we speak, currently we are working with 31 states and UTs in approximately 10,770 schools from class 9 to class 12. And there are around 10 lakh students who are enrolled into this program. And we are offering around 73 courses with 20 sector skill council. So the students who are there in the schools learn vocational education as part of their main curriculum from class 9 to class 12. So this is in 9th and 10th, this has been offered as one of the 6 subjects, and in 11th and 12th as one of the compulsory and elective subjects. So students have this option right now, but unfortunately it is majorly happening in the government school. But yes, CBSE is also pushing for getting this embedded in the private schools. There are around 7,000 schools who are implementing vocational education in the school space. And for programs which we do in higher education, the students who are coming out of vocational education from the schools will have natural inclination for doing a vertical progression. So this information is available in our ministry's website and also with the Ministry of Education. So the universities who are interested to look at what are the courses which are happening in the school space can look at it, because then we can give vertical mobility for the students who are passing out of class 12th. With regard to the higher education, NSDC is working with both the regulators, UGC and AICTE. With UGC, we are doing 3 programs right now. That is the community colleges, bachelor's in vocational, and Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushal Kendra. So it's basically multiple entry and multiple exit program. I'm not going to talk detail about it because the earlier speakers and panelists have already spoken about the BWOC program. One interesting thing which I wanted to highlight is that last year we had did a pilot where we were looking at embedding apprenticeship into the degree program. So we did this pilot with 3 sectors: retail, media entertainment and logistics, with 20 college, and we have around 686 students who are enrolled into this program, where we were looking at how can we embed apprenticeship into the degree program. Alternate semester the students are supposed to go into the shop floor and do the hands-on work and come back to the college on the odd semester. This way, we will ensure that the students who are taking up degree programs are equipped enough with hands-on skills for those sectors. In fact, we have also, with MHRD, looked at giving apprenticeship opportunities for BA, BCom, BSc students. So those students who are graduating with these streams, the general, non-technical field, they can also come and do a 6 months of apprenticeship program under the National Apprenticeship Promotional Scheme. So this is already open for all the students and as well as the universities who are willing to give this opportunity to their students. You can look at the details in our website or the ministry's website. Along with this, I would also like to inform the audience and our vice chancellors who are there in the panel that in the February budget speech, the Honourable Finance Minister had announced that 150 institutions will be running apprenticeship embedded degree program. So in the last month, UGC has released the guideline, which says that for a undergraduate program there should be total under the the choice based credit system, there should be 132 credits. So if any institution or university want to embed apprenticeship into their degree program, they can give minimum 20% total credits to these kind of apprenticeship or internship. So if it also says that if a student then has done 24 credits as a core course which forms part of the core course in the concerned discipline of CBCS at the undergraduate level, then the students will be considered eligible for admission in that CBCS discipline in the MA, MSc, technical or professional program. That means if a student has done BBA in logistic apprenticeship with 24 credits in economics, then the students will be eligible to apply for an MA or MSc course in economics. So this is a very important thing which has come up, because we were all struggling with the vertical progression for our BVOC students, and also the nomenclature, what nomenclature we should use. All the institution will agree with me that BVOC, many of them have come back to us and said that BVOC is not aspirational, the nomenclature needs to be changed. So today with this guideline in place, we have the option where a university can run a BSc program which has an embedded apprenticeship, and give a 24 so if in the BSc program, if a 24 credit is for the core subject, then the MSc can also be done by the students. So this is a landmark guideline, I would say. And through this kind of program, the employability of the general graduates is enhanced considerably, as the students can have professional experience on the shop floor along with their graduation. So I think this is a right time that we have the education policy in place, and also this new guideline of the UGC. The institutions who are working in the higher education space should now look at and ensure that they work with the sector skill council and ensure that the apprenticeship programs are embedded into the higher education program, so that our youth are able to get required skills and progress in their life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those insights into the whole SSC support and what we can expect from the SSCs, how NSDC is aligning up to industry requirements, not alone industry requirements, even academic requirements, where we are able to actually offer BSc with embedded internship offerings. Because now what we have been discussing so far has always been the flexibility for each and every academicians to start their own initiative, attach it to their own set of frameworks, to be more precisely, as said earlier, and adapt it across multiple initiatives. So, being on the similar lines, we have Dr. P. Kolandaivel, Vice Chancellor of Periyar University. And because they have done a very special initiative in this university. But to begin with, Dr. Kolandaivel is from an agriculture family and taken the journey to become a physics scientist working with molecular quantum mechanics. And once he became the VC of this particular university, he has done first of many kinds. And one of that kind is how actually degree programs can be wall-less, how you actually enable wall-less campaigns. So today he is with us here to share how the university or any institution can gear up for this wall-less campus initiative.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon to one and all. I am extremely happy to participate in this program. Basically, I am a physicist. I have been working in university for more than 30 years. I know only about the science, but I never had any experience with the skill program. Even with the science, that we have been working in very abstract science. Abstract science means that all the time we have been working with only the equations and other things. But yeah, after some time, we experienced that the abstract science is not very conducive for students, and also it is not understandable for the students also. Then we move to the applied sciences. The applied sciences, that will give some interactions with the industries. After that, the industries will also have some inclination towards the universities. In that sense, we have started this AR/VR course in our university 2 years ago. And the people have come from the media and the entertainment people. They want to talk they want to start the AR/VR course, which comes under the industry 4.0. But we do not know what is AR/VR and also the applications, everything. And boldly, we have accepted to start that course in our university. And after 2 years, now we have a very good the people, now we have many people interested to join the AR/VR courses. Around 50 people, 50 students have enrolled in this year also for the AR/VR course, and we are going to have the separate building for the AR/VR course, and also we have the separate program, we have the separate labs for the AR. In addition to recently, Tamil Nadu government has also 2.7 crores for the skill training in artificial intelligence and IoT of things. This has happened because of AR/VR only. In addition, these two, we have the other innovative courses in the vocational stream also, the food science and technology and the apparel design also. Therefore, now in the Periyar University, we have more than 4 courses in the vocational courses. Fortunately, the national education policy, the more emphasis on the skill program. And now our focus is more on skill program. This skill program should be integrated with the science program. But I am not saying the science is not completely irrelevant. The science is also relevant, and the application should be go to the vocational program. And also that now we have a plan to start all the courses with industry collaboration only. We have started the data science also recently in our institute. That also we have an industry collaborations. But for the couple of months, we have been insisting all the department, if you want to start a new program, you catch hold of some industries, then you have an MOU with the industry, then only you can have start the new courses. Therefore, the focus of the university, all the science university, science and arts university moves to the skill programs. We are not completely moving to that 50% of the courses should be in the science and arts also, and a few programs, around 10 to 15 programs should be skill also. Once we focus on the skills, then automatically these skilled people will impart the training for the science program and arts program also. Actually, this program ARVR first started with the communication department, mass communication department. Now it has moved to the computer science department. So this we got the Media Entertainment Skill Council Quebec also, and this is also one of the advantage. Therefore, the new courses with the industry, the industry 4.0, and also with the skill, that will give some advantage for the students, and the students also, they're inclined to move this skill program also. Therefore, the science alone, the program in previous things, all the science program we emphasize more on, you have an interactions with the some industries. For a physics or chemistry, we can have the science, this pure science program have an interaction with the industries. But now, even the arts people also, they can have the interactions with the industry people, and that course interactions with the industry, and the industry people should give the skill program for these arts people. Therefore, the policy that will give more emphasis for the skill program, and the skill program is integrated with the science program also. Therefore, the integration of the skill with the science program, with the arts program, which have more edge over for the students to get a job opportunities. Therefore, the absolute programs are not much relevant today, but there must be the integration of courses with the skill program as more relevant today. Therefore, this is the opportunity for the universities have flexibility. Previously, we don't have much of flexibility, but whereas in the new education policy is going to give a lot of flexibility for the students to learn more courses. Even if it is a credit, we have the credit bank is going to come for the new education. Can have the 50% of the program in some science, and 20% is in the arts, and also 20% the skill program also. Therefore, this type of flexibility is more, and also that the student have an opportunity to learn the skill program also. Therefore, these are all the new welcoming features, and also it is in the new education policy. Therefore, the new education policy actually helps the skill programs. Therefore, our Periyar University, that we vocational program, and we are going to start a few more vocational programs. All this integrated to the science programs also. Therefore, I am happy to participate in this program, and I learned many of the people have a lot of deliberations, and the Nehru that he talked about this, what is the skill, how this integrated to the new educational policy, and how we should train the students. Therefore, these are all opportunities available in the new education policy. Therefore, that we have to move from one to other sector, Therefore, some in the physics, if you change anything, the potential energy will always oppose it. Therefore, the people will oppose, the system will oppose. Once if you move to the, if you move cross the barrier, then the system will accept, everybody will accept. Therefore, this time I think maybe the potential energy will oppose the system. After if you cross that, everybody will accept. I think that will give the better chance for the students and the better chance for the entire society also. I thank the people to give the opportunity to speak about something about the what are the skill program available in our institute. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights on the skill program and the online format that you're doing at Periyar University. So in the shortage of time, I would request all audiences to start putting your Q&A up so that people can start responding to them. And moving forward, we have two more panelists, Mr. Sanjay Modi. Dr. Sanjay Modi is the Executive Dean. He is the Faculty of Business and Arts in Lovely Professional University, and he's going to bring a very specific point for discussion, which is how do you create these kind of advanced learning programs so that the professionals come back to the university, start learning. So thank you so much, and handing over the session to Dr. Dr. Sanjay Modi.
Thank you, Naresh. Privileged to be on the panel. I will straight away jump to the topic which has been given to me. One thing which is very important to understand is I'm extending, it says, how do you get the professionals back to the campus? And I'm here extending the definition of a campus, which to me is not the physical campus, but let us assume that the whole world is our campus. Whatever reach, digital reach we can create for ourselves is our campus. And professionals, no doubt we are talking about media and entertainment sector, yet to me, professionals would also mean a lot of other people who are becoming unemployable or unemployed because of issues of COVID or many other, nosediving of certain sectors of the economy. They might also be very keen to join this very potential sector. So for me, professional is the one who belongs to the media entertainment and one who is willing to come, make a switch to the sector. Now, the kind of programs which can attract people back to the campuses are, number one, a lot of premier institutes in management have been experimenting with this, that they have exclusive contracts with industry professionals to come and teach high-end programs on their campuses. Now, I was very impressed to listen to what Mr. Subhash Ghai had to say, and he was making a distinction between the guru and the teacher, and he was speaking about the industry professionals doing some pro bono service by visiting the institutes. But I think let me make this point very clearly. Even if it is not pro bono, I am for one that a lot of people may not like to work pro bono. So why not? If the high-end programs are required and are sought after by the industry professionals, so why make a choice of not offering them? So the choice is between not offering them or offering them at a price. So let it be offered at a price so that at least the skills which very high-end professionals have, they can be transferred to others who are willing to learn those. So it's a very successful model. The industry, media and entertainment industry must look at this, number one. Number two, we would expect that, though Mr. Behl also spoke about it, I think what needs to be done is that panel of experts who have certain skills to share, they are willing to impart, that must be displayed and made available so that we can make a choice. There are plenty of students and industry professionals who are willing to upgrade themselves. So if we have a list of willing people who are wanting to contribute to this endeavor, I think that will be great. Secondly, since technology is playing a very important role in this industry, an extremely important role. So very high-end, as Periyar University, the Vice Chancellor was also mentioning this, that they have started programs in VR and AR. I think on the same lines, a lot of institutions can start programs in AR, VR, in VFX, graphics, creating content for the rich media, IoT, animation. Lot of scope is there for such programs. So I think that is one area where a lot of industry professionals would like to, or so I believe, would like to equip themselves, because that is the future of the industry. So those can definitely be, people in the institutions like universities, higher education institutions may not know how to handle the high-end camera, perhaps a video camera which has come, which is the newly launched, version. But they can definitely, fiddle with the technology, get well equipped, and transfer the same learning to the professionals in the industry. Third, I think another dimension is that, today, multiple skills are required by industry professionals. It is not that only technical skills will suffice. There are a lot of management skills also which are very important. Media management or entertainment management is a very potential domain to be learned. So people can learn about, because that's integral part of media entertainment industry now, how to conceive events, how to manage events, how to do digital marketing, how to manage your finances. Financial modeling is available for different industries. So these are the kind of skills which are already available in plenty. Even our students are doing it hands-on, and we have good faculty available to impart those skills. And in fact, a lot of them are, offering online programs even now, which are being, enrolled to by a lot of not only Indian but foreign nationals also. I think one more potential area which can bring the industry professionals to the campuses is they can offer their challenges and areas where they want research to be conducted to the institutions. Now, because we have got the research skills, the faculty is, and today research has become very important. Whatever innovations are happening in the developed countries are based on a lot of intensive research, and we have very technical research methods. There are advanced mathematical models which are available. There are a lot of software packages which help in data analysis, since there's a tremendous amount of data available, whether it is of the TRP data, viewership data, whatever data. So I think if those research issues are offered to the institutions of higher education, we can give a lot of inputs for which they can come back. And once this interface starts, I think it's a question of starting that interface. Once this interface starts, a lot of exchange of ideas to mutual benefit can take place. Apart from this, I think apart from the fact that, the media industry might feel that we don't have higher education institutions, however hard they might try, will not be able to come up to the expectations of the industry, may be partly true from one angle, because if you are a cinematographer or a sound designer, the same level of skills, it takes time to acquire those skills. But at the same time, a lot of new ideas are required by the industry. And for that, I think higher education institutions are a gold mine. I've seen our students of, whether it is, we have in LPU, the programs of journalism and film production and fashion and animation and graphics and hotel management. And people are so creative, so creative. They do live projects and they are earning while they're learning. Animation people and graphics people, they start earning right in the second year because they get online projects, which they attempt in a small way, but are making creating handsome income for themselves. So, and many of them end up becoming very good entrepreneurs. They don't want jobs. And they are earning, above 8 to 10 lakhs after a year of their passing out. So that is, people can write lyrics. People can do script writing. People can, do costume designing. People can write dialogues. People can write blogs. A lot of these things, which is all about ideas and creativity, is available. And I think the audience, and these are the people, the youth, who understand the pulse of the, population today. they understand the pulse, and they can create content which would be of interest to the new generation, and that's how it can be a mutually rewarding relationship.
Thank you, sir. I think if you could, you have 1 minute left. For
Okay,
the sum up.
and let me make one last point that I was a little concerned when Mr. Behl said that not too many opportunities for internships, which is a must. Whichever industries have grown because they are offering internship opportunities. Whether it is internship or offer live projects to students, I think that must be tried. Some ways and means of extending those kind of opportunities must be created. That's the only way that people will get the right exposure and be prepared. And that's the only way our faculty will get exposure and be prepared to offer high-end programs on our campuses, which will draw the industry professionals to the campuses. Thank you, Janaresh. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Yeah, I know. We'd like to hear more, but we still have panelists and we still have questions and answers to do.
Perfect. That's all.
So let's quickly move on to the pros and cons of multiple entry and exit levels in degree courses. So I would like to invite Dr. P. Kaliraj, Vice Chancellor of Periyar University. He has humongous research behind him. And so we're going to ask him specifically to point us what he thinks might be the pros and cons of multiple exit levels in degree programs. Dr. Kaliraj, can you hear us? So until we solve this connectivity issue, can I invite the next speaker? Mr. Alok Baria, who is the Senior Director in Ashok University. He will take us through the specific topics related to realigning the higher education that is required today in the space. Mr. Alok, are you available?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, could we take it forward?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction and thanks for inviting me to this panel. So I think as you would know, Ashoka University started in 2014 and now it's 6 years old. And when I was going through the new education policy, I think number one, it's very relevant. And number two, also it's very ambitious. Having said that, I think the whole thing would depend on how well it can be implemented and integrated within the colleges. The policy states, lacuna and the old ecosystem, which is a lack of multidisciplinary approach, suboptimal governance, must introduce flexibility in curriculum, must focus on holistic development of the student, make a well-rounded individual. And also lack of research. So these are some of the things, of course, they talk about technology and like giving a flexible option to the student. The assessment system should be a more formative, continuous formative assessment system. So fortunately, since it's a young university and the option of the founders, the vision of the founders was very, very clear. It has already incorporated almost all of these factors. So today we have a student who comes into Ashoka, and in the first years, he does certain foundation courses, which are compulsory for him. So he can indicate what is the major or minor that he needs to do, but he needs to complete 8 foundation courses and 1 critical thinking course. So some of these courses, which are the foundation courses, they involve, these are Indian civilization, environmental studies, quantitative reasoning and mathematical thinking, principles of science, literature and the world, great books, mind and behavior, and economics, politics, and society. So you see, it covers the whole gamut of the environment in which the student or the mankind lives. So therefore, it's very, very important for him to learn all these aspects and also do the compulsory course of critical thinking. Because at the end of the day, I mean, whether it's the soft skills or professional skills, the soft skills are extremely, I mean, as important. And they have been named by everybody that he must be capable of problem solving abilities, he or she, good in communication, sort of open up his creativity, can be innovative. So basically what this program does is making him, teach him how to learn, learning to learn, and make him a lifelong learner. So with this aspect, this is decided. And once he completes that, so every course has a credit. The normal credits are 4 credits. He has to complete 20 to 22 credits in the semester and then proceed on for the 3 years course. For a normal major, he has to do 100 credits. And for an interdisciplinary course, he or she, I'm using he as a general term, has to complete 116 credits. Now, a math student studying maths could also be studying music side by side. So that's the kind of multidisciplinary approach that we want to adopt. We have adopted, that's what's followed up. In the classroom, it's a very Socratic method of teaching. It's not a one-way traffic that the faculty teaches. Faculty is more of a facilitator, and this is followed. And of course, your continuous formative assessment is done. It is not just one exam at the end of one semester, or it is end of 1 year. There's continuous assessment going on. The NEP talks about flexibility of assessment and freedom to the faculty. Each department, each faculty decides their own assessment criteria. So that is a freedom given to each faculty. So the whole objective is to have methods where the faculty and learner interaction is very close, very well integrated, and the learner feels absolutely comfortable and safe in that learning environment. So that's one focus which we try and give in every class. And also there are lecture sessions and there are discussion sessions. So discussion sessions are also compulsory for most of the courses, especially the foundation courses. So after the lecture sessions, you have discussions where you can discuss on a point or critique what was taught or ask for gaps in what was taught in the classroom. So that's the method we have tried to follow. And basically, we also have, we also have co-curriculars. Now, typically a co-curricular each student is supposed to do at least 2 co-curricular courses of 2 credits each, which is making a 4 credits. And as, so this focuses on the MESC side also, because some of the courses which are there right now are performing arts practices, Bharatnatyam, general music, Indian poetics. And then some of the courses which have been offered earlier are the performing body and history of South India, Bharatnatyam practice and theory, 1 and 2, Kalai Kuttu, musical theatre of Tamil Nadu. So these are the kind of courses which are followed. And right now in the monsoon 2020 semester, the courses being offered are, Asian traditional theatre, general music, production skills, performing arts aesthetics, and Bharatnatyam. So this is to basically ensure that the learner, the student, has an integrated learning and all-round learning in a holistic sort of environment, and the courses that are offered to him are to make sure that he develops an all-round personality. he or she. So this is the system that Ashoka follows. The NEP also talks about getting faculties from abroad. So we have weeks, a 2-week or 4-week abroad or a semester abroad program. And the credits, the universities that we tie up with outside, they recognize these credits. And sometimes if you've not had a tie-up, then the student can do a course and give it to the department to be able for his course to be credit recognized. So it could be anything from 2 to 8 credits for the course. So this is a multidisciplinary approach. So firstly, he does these FC courses, foundation courses. Second year onwards and third semester, he or she decides on what he or she wants to pursue as a major or a minor. So that's the kind of flexibility. We also have a system of auditing the courses. Except for the first semester, in the second semester onwards, you can audit a course. The purpose of the audit course is, as you know, for the student to acquaint himself with the kind of course which he's auditing, and therefore being able to decide in the third or fourth semester onwards whether he wants to pursue these courses. So this is trying to ensure, give the student as much flexibility as possible in an environment which is very safe, which is very nurturing, which is very inspiring, and let the student decide what he or she wants to do, what course he or she wants to major in. Research is another aspect which NEP touches upon. So third year students and the 4-year students are able to do research on the topics that they desire. So there is an advisor allocated to them, and especially the 4th year students, which is called the ASP students, they have to do research. They cannot do the 4th year without research in a particular subject. So that's again, which is something very important. And we believe that the student, unless and until has been able to do research, analyze, and give the outcomes, then without that, the education would not be complete for him or her. So that's the kind of path that we follow, Ashoka follows. Incidentally, Ashoka was the one to originally start with 4-year program. But since the earlier time, the UGC mandated that you can only do graduation. The typical graduation has to be, liberal arts graduation has to be 3 years. We followed that. Now we are already ready. And the moment the approvals come, we'll be following the 4-year. So we follow whatever has been already sort of guided or mandated in the new NEP 2020. We also have departments, separate departments. Of course, there's department for entrepreneurship, which is Center for Entrepreneurship. There's also Center for Social Impact and Philanthropy. So these are the kind of departments that work with the students, and sometimes we get industry-driven research projects which are conducted. It's the youngest university, but it already has 63 PhD students, because we find that, apart from just focusing on teaching, research is an extremely important part for the university to develop further. So we have highest number in biology and economics and chemistry research students, also English. So there is quite an even spread of research students that Ashoka has. So that is what I would like to conclude with in terms of how it can be aligned. We use technology pretty extensively. I think everybody had to shift from 16th March onward, everybody had to shift an online system. And we also follow synchronous or asynchronous method of teaching. But students are also given ample opportunity to be able to decide how they would like to follow a particular class in terms of the faculty agreeing to provide flexibility to the students. In terms of all inclusiveness, I think more than almost 50% of the students are on financial aid, from 100% to 10%. I can see Janesh giving me a finger to say time up.
Time's up.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I think what we have derived today, right? We have looked everything from research as an initiative which needs to be imparted, innovation centers to actually support everything that will come onto the space. We will have flexible SSC approved and NEP approved frameworks that could help institutions take this abroad. We have seen examples of people taking this and already approaching a huge sense of things to what they are actually doing on ground. So there is enough discussions that we have brought in, right from colleges adding even to their existing engineering courses or science courses, an internship and a practice scheme through Vivo. So I would like to thank everyone and hand over the session back to Pooja, who will do the closing remarks for us. And thank you so much. I have got a lot of many points, and I'm going to use all this to actually set up my education initiative in India as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Janesh ji, and all the esteemed panelists for joining us for this session. Please accept my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of Media and Entertainment Skills Council team and for helping us to have a clearer image of new education policy and being a part of this prestigious panel. We appreciate your valuable suggestions and prepare to work together to take media and entertainment sector to another level. I would like to inform about tomorrow's session, that is going to be the day 4, where we will have panelists from various institutions of media and entertainment. And tomorrow it's going to be an interactive and learning session with Ms. Meghna Gaipuri, Mr. Anuj Kakar, Mr. Vivek Vasmani ji, Mr. Sanjay ji, Mr. Turakia ji, and Mr. Nilesh Thomas, Mr. Ramanya, and Ms. Deva Mitra. So we will wait for you all to join us back tomorrow for this amazing session. In addition, I would like to take your leave with the theme song of our skilling ecosystem, that is Hunar Hai To Qadar Hai. So, and that has been the gist of this session as well, that we have been talking about the skilling and talking about the skills and the hunar thing that is important for new young India. So I would like to take your leave. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on this session. We'll see you soon and we'll meet all our audience tomorrow on the same platform of Vidyadaan. So I'm signing off here with our theme song today. Then take care, stay safe, bye-bye.
ऊंचा शिखर है, लंबा सफर है। हुनर है तो कदर है, वरना कठिन टगर है। ऊंचा शिखर है, लंबा सफर है। ऊंचा शिखर है, लंबा सफर है। हर बात समझ में आई भैया, हुनर है तो कदर है, हुनर है तो कदर है, वरना कठिन डगर है, वरना कठिन डगर है। हुनर में जो कलाकार ही कहलाए। हो ऊंचा शिखर है, लंबा सफर है, ऊंचा शिखर है, लंबा सफर है। बात समझ में आई भैया, हुनर है तो कदर है, हुनर है तो कदर है।
देश को विकास के लिए और आगे बढ़ाना है तो स्किल डेवलपमेंट, ये हमारा मिशन है।